My partner, F35, is the reason I, F30, don't want kids. I'm in my 30s and I see all my friends having babies, starting little families, and I'm honestly so envious of them. I have always been on the fence about having children, but as I get a bit older my desire to have a child is increasing. The only thing stopping me is that I don't think my partner is who I want to have children with. I love my partner, we have a nice life. We have a house, good jobs, a dog. We have our ups and downs like most couples. The household chores fall predominantly on my shoulders, and since getting the dog, the additional workload has also fallen on my shoulders. I feel as though if we have a child, that would also fall on me. I constantly have the same argument that my partner isn't pulling their weight. We both work the same hours. My partner struggles to wake up in time for work when they start at 8 a.m. and work from home. Most mornings they're still in bed until 8:30. I am constantly picking up rubbish, taking down dirty dishes and glasses that pile up over THR work week in their office and on their bedside table. I wash our clothes, clean the kitchen surfaces, hoover, fill the dishwasher and empty it, pick up the trail of clothes, shoes and rubbish my partner has left around the house, refill the toilet roll instead of placing it on top of an empty tube, and loads more. My partner will pick up bits, temporarily. And then it will drop again and go back to normal until I'm exhausted and sick of it again. A lot of the time my partner will just sit on the sofa and barely move all evening. In addition to this, my partner has health issues. They are overweight and do very little to help themselves with their health issues. I feel as though they make excuses for not being able to do XYZ due to their health. My partner claims they're always tired, always complaining about being in pain, having bowel issues, knee issues, headaches, and I know they can't help this, so I feel awful for complaining about it. But if we were to have a baby and I was in recovery, I feel as though my partner's health would still be a priority. I suffer with mental health that isn't fantastic. I'm exhausted from having to keep on top of the chores, the dog, work and finding time for myself, but I still manage to pull through and show up. I show up for our house so things don't stack up and become bigger jobs. I show up for our dog who needs feeding, walks, entertainment and attention. I work full time on top of this. I want a baby, but I don't think my partner is the right person to have a baby with. They can't even wake up on a morning to let the dog out or take him for a walk before work. I manage to all of the above and more without any issues. So why can't I have the support? How am I supposed to manage everything above and adding pregnancy, a baby and recovering into it all? How does a baby fit into this without me just tackling another job without any support from my partner? I may regret not having a baby later in life, but right now it's not an option and I feel as though my partner is the reason why. Has anyone else gone through anything similar? You're looking at this all wrong. The issue isn't that your partner would be a shitty co-parent, although that's an issue. The issue is that your partner isn't a good partner. You're afraid of how they would fall short with a child in the picture, but they're already falling short now. Why are you staying with someone who doesn't contribute to your relationship? Aren't you exhausted? So do you want a baby, or do you want to stay with this partner? Because clearly, you can't have both. And frankly, if you're feeling overworked and undersupported, I'm not sure why you'd choose the partner. I find it kind of odd that all you listed is happening, or rather not happening, and that's not enough for you to end things. You need an imaginary baby to push you across the line. You already have a kid. 835yo, poorly functioning adult child. I think you are totally correct in that it's unlikely you'll have any help raising a child with this person. Just like you have no help right now with anything else. You say you love your partner and then write paragraphs of information about how they are a terrible partner to you. If you've already communicated your issues with them and they haven't tried to work on themselves or change their pattern of behavior to help out around the house, they won't start when a baby shows up. Honestly, even if you didn't have this dilemma, I'd still say leave your partner. Life is too short to be taken advantage of and stressed and missing out on what you want because your partner sucks. If you really want to start a family, you need to do so either on your own or with someone else. Good luck with it all. So, where is the nice life you're referring to? I don't usually make a habit of making excuses for lazy people, but is it all possible your partner could have an underactive thyroid? These symptoms, gaining weight, constantly being tired, aches and pains, as well as massively affecting my mental health. It might be something to maybe look at? How do I, 29F, accept the fact that my dad, 60M, had an affair and I have half-siblings? Growing up, I often saw my parents argue without knowing why. Eventually, I found out my dad was having an affair when I saw a message sent to my mom saying the other woman was pregnant. People close to the mistress would taunt my mom, and she endured a lot. Wild, I know. These monsters of humans have no decency at all. My siblings and I also went through things no child ever should because of that affair. In 2012, my parents considered separating but chose to stay together to keep the family intact. My mom stayed, and I've never questioned her decision. She is the strongest and most amazing woman I know. If she had left, I would have supported her fully and gone with her. I live in Asia, where cultural norms can be deeply patriarchal, especially back then, so I hope others can understand the complexity behind her choice. They've mostly mended things since then, and as far as I'm aware, the affair has ended. A few years ago, though, my dad's former mistress kept berating my mom with nasty messages out of jealousy, for reasons I won't disclose, and I also don't need to justify her horrible behavior. This pushed my mom to her limit, and as triggered as I wanted to know who this trash of a human was. I found her on Facebook and discovered she has 2 kids, both of whom resemble my dad. That's when I found out I have half-siblings. I felt betrayed, angry, and deeply unloved. I wondered why me, my siblings, and my mom weren't enough for my dad. Why did he have to make another family with someone else? I kept my feelings to myself until I confronted him a few years later. I told him everything I knew, how much it hurt, and how much I hated him. He apologized and made real efforts to make it up to me, my mom, and my siblings. He had been trying before, but this time he communicated it more clearly. Fast forward to now, and I can say our relationship has been mostly good. Sometimes, though, I still get this aching feeling whenever I'm reminded that I have half-siblings. They haven't done anything to me, but if I'm being honest, I wish they were never born. They and the mistress are living proof of my mom's pain. Because of everything I went through growing up, I don't think I am capable of forming healthy romantic relationships with men. How do I accept this and move on? Get into counseling. None of these triggers are going anywhere, so all you can do is get some tools with which to handle it better. That or murderous rampage. You don't really have to accept it. Your father made some horrible choices. If you've extrapolated that his second family means you're not enough, then you should definitely get into some therapy to talk about that. But it's not the fault of your half-siblings that they were brought into the world this way, so it's unfair to hold resentment toward them. So be good to your mother who made some major sacrifices to give you at least the semblance of a normal childhood. Also get some help for yourself, you can overcome this. Well, you don't need to accept it. You don't need to have a good relationship with your father or his do-over family. Don't have to remain in contact with any of them. Your dad doesn't deserve forgiveness. Take into account that your father is the problem and your half-siblings are simply some evidence of that. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing worth holding against them because they didn't have a say in the matter. Don't let yourself become part of the problem with your father. Be reasonable, show some grace to your siblings. You have your own issues, that no one else is gonna solve or work through except yourself, having to cope with the cards you've been dealt. Don't go out of your way to be a jackass about it towards people who've done nothing to provoke wrath. Otherwise, you're just as bad as him, if not worse. If you have nothing nice to say, do to them, then don't do anything at all and stay the fuck away. The fault is with your dad, so don't wish your step-siblings were never born. They were never asked to be brought into this situation. Boyfriend, 35M, isn't sure we can be together because of my weight. What to do? 27F. Boyfriend and I have been together for around a year and a half since we met in grad school, and have basically been living together. It has been the dream relationship. We're best friends. Love to be with each other all the time, never fight, are respectful of each other, support each other through difficult times, have shared goals in life, have similar personalities, have good communication, or at least, I thought, and basically have so much fun being together. I couldn't even imagine life without him anymore. Around a year ago I got news that I got accepted into a year-long study abroad program. At first, he was distraught at the idea of losing me. Since we had only been dating for a few months at that point, I wasn't able to say if we would stay together during my study abroad or not. It was too far in the future and I wanted to wait and see. But he even suggested going abroad with me. So we proceeded with the assumption that we would probably try to find a way to make it work out, but wouldn't focus on it until the time came. Life went on and like said, it was the dream relationship. We spent every day together, made lots of beautiful memories, and I even stayed with his family for 2 weeks over Christmas. I was the first girl he had introduced to them, or even dated, since 2018. I felt on top of the world. Then, a few months ago, I felt like he was becoming a little distant. We stopped being intimate, but otherwise, everything was great as before. Since I'm studying abroad in 2 months, I finally brought up the subject again last week. I love him so much and would be more than willing to make our relationship work long distance. And honestly, remembering his initial reaction, I was sure he felt the same way too. I was shocked by his response. First, he said he wanted to wait and see. Wait and see for what? I asked. We've been together for over a year, you should know how you feel about me. After I pushed him, he said that he wasn't sure that we would be together either way. What does that mean? ? He admitted that he was no longer attracted to me because I gained weight. This didn't really surprise me, because weight is something I've been really struggling with for 2 years due to the mental health strain of grad school. I'm a lot heavier than when I met him, and I know that our intimacy suffered because of it. I've been incredibly insecure about my weight as well, and it's definitely one of my goals to lose it. He knows this and acknowledges that I've been taking small steps so far to lose weight and be healthy, which was incredibly kind and supportive about. So for me, I saw this as a temporary problem that I am willing to fix both for my sake and his sake. I told him that I would make an effort starting immediately if that was important to him. But I was still confused about the status of our relationship. I asked him if he loved me, and if he even cared about being with me. After a long, painful pause, he barely said anything, but I felt like he was indifferent and wasn't able to say that he loved me. I was shocked because not once in our relationship did I doubt that he loved me. I took some time to think and resumed the conversation the next day. I told him that I was confused because he said that he's indifferent, doesn't know if he loves me, but still continues to act in the same loving way as before. I said I didn't want to feel like this and I needed clarity on our relationship before I go abroad. Again, after a long, painful pause, he said that he wasn't indifferent and didn't not love me, but didn't think we would work out because he doesn't think I can lose weight. He said that it is truly the only issue bothering him, otherwise, I am the perfect girlfriend. I'm deeply hurt by the fact that he can't really say he loves me anymore. This came out of nowhere and was the last thing I ever expected. I told him that I was willing to make changes to save our relationship, losing weight, but that he also had to figure out his feelings and make efforts to stop being distant and to communicate again. I feel like I should break up with him because this is so disrespectful, but it's also such a shame to throw away a great relationship with someone I love for what I see as a temporary and fixable issue. I almost broke up with him last night, but he is continuing to act as the same perfect, loving boyfriend as before, so I'm confused. He said that he didn't want to break up, but wants to wait and see. I need advice on how to proceed. I'm so torn and devastated. Too long did not read. Boyfriend of 1 year plus suddenly isn't sure if he wants to continue our relationship anymore when I move abroad because I gained weight. He seems indifferent and can't say he loves me, which is a complete shock. He wants to act like everything is normal and wait and see. Stay to fix the issues or break up? Edits to respond to some comments. For the people asking, I went from 130 to 170 at 5 feet 6. I truly don't look or feel great, but I'm far from having health issues or keeping up an active lifestyle. If anything, I've always been the one asking him to go on walks or work out together. He's known since the beginning that I've struggled with weight for a long time, childhood issues leading to an eating disorder, and then grad school exacerbating it. He's always been supportive of me getting healthy, and encouraged me to see the doctor and go to therapy. I have taken these steps but unfortunately haven't made progress yet because we were both preoccupied with grad school. Despite this, he's always called me beautiful and treated me so nicely. Besides the lack of intimacy over the past few months and a little bit more distance, which I originally thought was just a result of his spending every single day together, I would not have known at all that his feelings change. It was a complete shock that during our conversation, not once did he emphasize that he loved me or wanted to be with me. After I asked if he was already completely checked out of the relationship, he said not completely, and that he was midway between indifference and wanting to be with me. He doesn't want to break up now, but wants to wait and see, probably to see if he will be attracted to me again. I understand attraction is important, but I'm really concerned that he seems to not love me anymore, despite acting the same as before. I don't think it's just the weight. Weight fluctuates, and if you love someone you may lose some attraction, but you won't lose any love for them. I think it's the study abroad. He doesn't want to say it because he doesn't want to talk you out of it, but I don't think he's actually on board with it. I think you two have reached the end of your relationship, unfortunately. Hit the gym, enjoy your new life, and have fun. I had an ex say almost this exact thing to me. He also had to figure out his feelings and make efforts to stop being distant and to communicate again. He had already figured out his feelings, he just wanted to keep me on the back burner. It's a shitty thing to do to someone that is a supposed loved one. I fear your boyfriend is doing this to you. Probably the best thing to do is to leave, unfortunately. It's his loss. Your weight is probably going to fluctuate your whole life. What about babies? Is he going to fall out of love with you when you put on 30 pounds of pregnancy weight and don't drop it immediately after birth? I think there's something deeper here. He's telling you you're perfect except for putting on some weight, but this made him question his love for you and if you can even be together? I sincerely hope it's something else and he's beating around the bush, which is not something I ever say, because if he legitimately fell out of love over you putting some weight on instead of just talking to you about it, that is absolutely shallow and wild to me. Baby, go study abroad. Focus on your education, flirt with new men who will appreciate you where you're at. Leave him behind. Even if you lose the weight, what would he do if you gained it back? You deserve better. I've been there, honey, thinking we could fix everything with a bit more time or effort. But sometimes, it's their issue, not yours. Be so real you offered a 35-year-old man to lose weight so he can love you again. Really sit with yourself on this and think if that's how you want the rest of your life to be. Think about what your life will look like if you have children. Think of what your daughter would be learning one day watching you constantly struggle with your weight to appease a man. Husband, 27 male, wants to join the military even though this was a relationship boundary for me, 24 female. Back when my husband and I started dating, I mentioned that one of my relationship boundaries is I don't and won't be in a relationship with military members. My dad was in the as fuck and was gone during early childhood. This is something I don't want for my family. Now, only after we got married, my husband has decided that he wants to join the Air Force. We've been married since July, he graduated school in December, and since having trouble finding a job in his field, he's decided the military is his best bet. I reminded him that this isn't something I'm okay with in relationships. I told him I won't raise kids away from my family, and I don't want to travel myself when I could be starting my career. I'm currently in nursing school and would need to quit my program and start over. Edit. He currently has a job that pays more than what the military will. It's just not in the field he studied for. He has continued to insist. At first he said he would do the guard, which I reluctantly agreed to because he could be stationed near us. Now he is insisting on active duty. We also recently learned we will need to do IVF to have a family. This is something we are supposed to start next month, and now I'm facing the possibility of doing it alone. I'm not sure how to handle this. Any words of encouragement? Don't start IVF. Figure out if this marriage will last before adding children to the mix. I'm not sure how to handle this. You stated a boundary. He chose to cross it. If you do not enforce it, he will never respect you again. Put simply, it was discussed early in your relationship. He either respects this boundary or you leave. Absolutely do not start IVF with this man. A boundary is your line in the sand, not a rule for someone else to follow. It's just, X means I'm out. He knows this. You've told him this. He's decided his thing is more important to him. You know your answer. Is this a boundary or not? Is this a deal breaker for you or not? He's made his choice, that doing the military thing is more important than what you wanted. So now, you have to make yours. Do you want to be a mom alone? To have your kid just like you with their dad away all the time? Or do you want to find someone that wants to actually be there and parent with you? How are you affording IVF in your situation? And why are you doing it at all right now? This is a relationship ship ender. Will you stay with him if he joins?